Good morning and welcome to Melbourne's bustling and very busy Southern Cross railway station, which is the second busiest railway station down here in Melbourne, which is Australia's second largest city and the capital of the Australian state of Victoria. Southern Cross station is the second busiest station here in Melbourne. Prior to the pandemic, it had nearly 20 million yearly passenger movements on the metropolitan Melbourne network and an additional over 6 million regional movements. Anyway, today we're going to be catching a commuter Vline train to the regional city of Ballarat, which is not too far from Melbourne. It's about 115 kilometres away by road, or about an hour and 20 minutes by train. Ballarat is a very historical gold mining city. It's the third largest population in Victoria, just over 100,000 people. So the majority of the Ballarat Vline passenger service is operated by Vline's Vlocity diesel multiple unit trains. A few may also be operated by the Sprinter and N-Class trains, but yeah, for the vast majority it's the Velocity trains that they use on this route. It very much is quite a unique route. It's not really a regional train in the traditional sense that you have to book a ticket sort of in advance, or you have a dedicated seat or anything like that. Basically, it operates pretty well around every half an hour, from about the first service, which is around 5 o'clock in the morning, to the last service, which leaves Southern Cross close to midnight. Operates 7 days a week as well. Obviously, Ballarat isn't very far from Melbourne in the grand scheme of things, so a lot of people actually might live in Ballarat and commute to Melbourne on a weekly or even daily basis, you know, for work, for leisure, for whatever. So yeah, to board this train, it's really just can't be reserved in advance. It's just a first come, first served sort of basis. So you can just rock up and you can scan your Mikey card, which is the transportation card that they use down in Melbourne, and it will usually cost most times of the day $16 off peak, although there's a couple hours of the day in certain directions of travel where it is peak. So yeah, with this train you certainly don't need to really arrive any more than a few minutes early prior to departure. It's worth looking at the signs closely, because when I got there I was obviously looking for a train heading to Ballarat, but generally the service operates to Wendouree, which is basically like a satellite suburb, a little bit further on from Ballarat, but all intents and purposes it is still a part of Ballarat. So yeah, you may have to look for a service to Wendouree, which is one stop after Ballarat. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you're trying to find out where to go. Once on board the train, I can't help to notice it's a pretty modern and spacious sort of diesel operated train. Plenty of legroom. Even though it does give the vibes of a commuter train, you still got a folding back tray table, so that's quite convenient in case you want to have a snack or something like that. Although there is no sort of buy on board sort of menu as you would expect with a regional train. But yeah, the tray back table is handy nonetheless if you want to, you know, get your iPad out or laptop or something, because there probably is a bit of time to spare on this journey. But yeah, it does have cabin attendants, or carriage attendants shall I say, and the crew do a very good job of informing everyone of the next station and when we're about to arrive into stations. And yeah, shortly after departure they also come around and validate that your Mikey card's working. So yeah, It's not so much a problem leaving Southern Cross because you basically got to go through the gates to get on the train, but certainly when you're coming back from the other direction from Ballarat, or if you're getting on at another station, just don't forget to scan your Myki on, otherwise you might get in trouble. Once the train does leave Melbourne Southern Cross station, it does make several intermediate stops through the outskirts of Melbourne first. First stops at Footscray, and then Sunshine, Adir Park. Then it heads out to Caroline Springs, Rockbank, Cocklebank, Melton, Bacchus Marsh, Ballon, Ballarat, and then Wendouree. So, all in all, it's a little bit industrial as you're leaving the outskirts of Melbourne, but apart from that, once you get out of town, there's certainly nothing too dramatic in the way of scenery, but it's quite nice nonetheless, as you kind of make a gentle ascent up through the Central Highlands of Victoria. So there's definitely some nice countryside to be seen along the way. And yeah, it's very much achievable as a day trip from Melbourne. So if you're visiting town, very much worth taking a day trip out to Ballarat if you've got the time, especially if you haven't done it before. You know, it doesn't require too much planning, with the train leaving every half an hour or so. Basically, yeah, you just got to allow an hour and just under an hour and a half to get there, hour and a half to get back, and then, you know, half a day or so to explore Ballarat. So yeah, it makes for a very nice day trip. Obviously, you've got a lot of historical attractions in Ballarat. You've got Sovereign Hill, all that sort of stuff. So if you like your history, it's well worth heading out. So for now, what better time to just sit back, relax, and enjoy some of the gentle sloping Victorian Central Highlands as we head up to the regional centre of Ballarat. And yeah, hope you enjoy. A little bit later on, towards the end, as we're about to arrive into Ballarat, I'll offer my final thoughts on today's train service and also sort of my verdict on whether it's worth going to Ballarat as a bit of a day trip from Melbourne. But yeah, for now, just sit back, relax, and enjoy. So we're now starting to make our approach into Ballarat. We're on the outskirts of Ballarat, and yeah, the train's about to roll into the very lovely historical Ballarat train station in the next few minutes. So yeah, with that, I offer my final thoughts on today's journey. For me, it basically costs $16 each way, or $32 return. It was really worth taking a day trip out to Ballarat today. I probably spent less time than I thought in Ballarat, just because I decided not to actually go into the Sovereign Hill Museum, as I thought the entry price seemed a little bit steep. But yeah, it was great to head out to Ballarat nonetheless, spend a few hours walking around, obviously filming the walking tour, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, if you really like your history, you want to go for a little bit of a train trip, but with the comfort that you can return to Melbourne the same day, it's really worth checking out. It's a really affordable sort of day trip from Melbourne. Get to see a little bit of the Victorian countryside as well along the way, so absolutely well worth doing. It really is a hassle-free way to travel as well. You don't need to book in advance or worry too much about scheduling. Just, time your arrival at the station, to the half-hourly departures of the train. Bring a Myki card if you can, because it'll be a little bit cheaper. Obviously, travel in the off-peak time. You also save some money as well. But yeah, all in all, definitely worth doing if you haven't already done it on a previous visit to Melbourne. So yeah, really enjoyable little side trip today. But yeah, for now, I really hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's a fairly, brief review of the Vline service to Ballarat. But yeah, I hope you found some interesting information nonetheless, and hope you enjoyed some of the sort of gentle sloping views of the Central Victorian Highlands. But for now, if you've enjoyed it, really appreciate you hit that like and subscribe button. Really motivates me to produce better and better content. Still got another free domestic flight reviews coming up in the next 3 to 4 weeks, and we're also going international again to Singapore in April, so some more international content on the way as well. Also visit my website aussiejetsetter.com.au. It's really starting to take off for 2023, so there you'll find lots of industry news, frequent flyer hacks, destination guides, obviously flight reviews, all that sort of stuff. So check that out. Put a link into my socials in the description as well, so please check that out if you haven't already. But for the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and safe travels wherever that might take you.